LSU in southeastern Louisiana. One team season ends tonight. The next will advance you by Capital One. Tori Edwards is 0 in this tournament, but she does have a year. First pitch to LaRue. First pitch. And what a tournament Danica Coffey has. And she is again tonight. 5th hit of the tournament, and it gets past Cullivan and left. Coffey might be thinking 3. There she goes. And LSU, a great start in the second elimination game of the day.
LSU has a ton of speed, and their speed starts with Danica Coffey at the top, running through more of a power slap, hits it hard to the left side, and Cullivan just can't handle the hop. Southeastern Louisiana is a tough defense and pitching staff to score against. One of the best team ERAs entering the regional in the entire country.
And Amanda, all year in the Southland Conference, they had been so sure-handed defensively. But they did have those 3 errors today in the loss to Nebraska at Southeastern. And now Jayla Lassiter has a chance to put LSU on the board first. The Tigers are 23-1 this season when scoring in the first inning. They failed to do so despite having multiple runners on in the first inning last night against Southeastern. This might find grass, and it does. Coffey will score without a throw on the RBI single by Jayla Lassiter.
Already against it come out.
Runner goes, and a bang-bang play by Sydney Schneider behind the plate. Catching Jayla Lassiter, 1 down.
First year with this program back behind the plate, Schneider able to throw out Lassiter easily. We've seen her do it at the plate, the left-handed catcher back behind the plate, and with the bat in her hands. It's made a big impact in this regional.
Two from Macy LaRue. Bergeron up the middle, off the glove of LaRue. Fielded it short by McGee, 2 away.
Chloe McGee is so smooth at shortstop for the Southeastern team, just a sophomore. Look at her hands and how quickly she transitions the ball or transfers the ball to be able to get rid of it. This LSU team has good team speed, and so does Southeastern Louisiana with almost 200 stolen bases speed at both clubs.
And now with 2 outs and the bases clear, strike 1 to the SEC Freshman of the Year. In search of her first hit of the NCAA tournament. A top 10 finalist for National Freshman of the Year, along with her teammate Jaden Heavner.
You have to be so careful when you go inside like that to Tori Edwards with her pull side power. Beth Tarina calls Tori Edwards the total package. Has been off the charts what she's been able to do in her redshirt freshman year.
Longest drought she's been on since February. 18 at-bats without a home run for a player whose 18 homers ties the program's single-season record. Full count. Wind. We both were thinking it, blowing out a little bit to left field.
And also in a little bit, it's just a consistent force on this field here in Baton Rouge.
Goes down on strikes. Macy LaRue bouncing back, allowing just 1 run in the first.
She even fell on this pitch, striking out one of the best hitters in the country. Doesn't matter how it looks, it works. This team is very fast, especially with Shelby Morris at the top and Chloe McGee, the 1-2 hitters, trying to put the ball on the ground, trying to use a short game. This offense for Southeastern is a very unique, kind of unorthodox offense that can be difficult for defenses to handle. Only 17 home runs on the year for Southeastern. They are all about their speed.
They lead the nation in stolen bases again this year. 8th time in the 10-year tenure of Rick Freeman. They also lead the nation in triples, and they're top 5 in sack bunts. You just never know what you're going to get from Rick Freeman's Lady Lions at the plate. It's part of what makes them so tough to defend. And Rick Freeman has led this Lady Lions program to 4 straight 40-win seasons. Not only is it the best stretch in program history, it puts their program, Amanda, in elite company with some of the best blue bloods in this sport. And they are on the national stage for the 2nd time in as many seasons. Meanwhile, Beth Torina is coming out of the LSU dugout. Wants a chat with our third base umpire, J.C. Bartley.
Wondering if maybe there was an illegal pitch called by the third base umpire that we didn't see live. We haven't had any illegal pitch problems here at the regionals, so that would be a first for us out of all 4 games that we played up to this point. But he did throw his arm out and call an illegal pitch, and that's why Beth Torina came out to try to get an explanation for why Tatum Clopton threw it.
Shot off the glove at third of Coffey, and it's a fair ball. Although Emerus Addison is now walking up the third base line and saying he thought it was foul. Now there will be a conversation with J.C. Bartley. Neither umpire was definitive when the ball went off the glove of Coffey, but foul is the call, Amanda.
We'll get a great look here. It did look to me like it was in foul territory. Close, but when she touched it, looked like her glove was in foul territory.
3-2 count to the leadoff hitter Morris, and she draws a walk to start the game for Southeastern.
You know, it's an interesting position that Beth Torina finds herself in this elimination game with her starter, because Jaden Heavner, the freshman sensation, the lefty, got the start in yesterday's game against Southeastern Louisiana. And then they lost, finally, or found themselves in an elimination game this morning and pitched Sydney Berzon. So Berzon pitched, can't throw Heavner. They just saw her in last night's game, so they go to Clopton.
McGee drops down a bunt, only play at first, and it gets away from Sierra Daniel. Up to third goes Morris in the game-tying run, 60th, who has quickly become a star again. No throw on the stolen bag by Chloe McGee. And now 2 in scoring position with nobody out for Southeastern.
Detillier has been such a force at the plate. I mean, there is a reason that she is a 3-hole hitter for this team. By far the most RBIs, extra base hits on the team.
Up the middle, throw comes home, not in time. We have a tie game in Baton Rouge. And now Detillier will just take second unabated. Early chaos on the base paths for the Lady Lions.
Playing defense against a team like Southeastern is all about decision making. They force you to make a decision with their speed, and that is a bad decision by Avery Hodge to go home on that play. She should have gone first to get an out, knowing that Shelby Morris had speed at third base, a slow developing play. There was just no way she was going to be able to get her out at home.
Beth Torina bringing her infield in. She told us short game defense is the key against Southeastern Louisiana. That was before the tournament even began, Amanda. And as we talked about in the open, these programs very familiar with one another. So much respect between Rick Freeman and Beth Torina, who have played some epic games on this field over the last couple of seasons. Two of them resulting in walk-off wins for LSU. And of course, last night, the historic win for Southeastern.
And you just know that it just kind of seems like, I should say, that the entire game is going to feel like this. Very tight, very intense.
Nobody out. Go ahead run at third base. And the JUCO transfer, Sydney Schneider, at the plate.
Talked about her game-winning RBI in the 7th last night against LSU, and then she turned right back around this morning, faced Jordy Ball, and her first at bat had an RBI off of the Nebraska pitcher.
Right back to the circle. Clocked in. Boy, again, you wonder about the decision-making. Bases now loaded and nobody out, as Chloe McGee had her attention at third base.
Speed. Again, it goes back to decision making. They're putting the ball on the ground and putting the ball in the hands of the LSU defenders to have to make a play. McGee takes a couple of steps towards home, and Tatum Clofton should have thrown to third as soon as she saw McGee take a couple of steps back toward third, and then she ran her back, and then she was close enough to the base where she didn't even have a play.
Rick Freeman chatting with her home plate umpire, Emrys Addison. There will be a pinch runner for Schneider at first. Brianna Fontenot comes in with nobody out and the bases loaded for Briley Ford. And what a 2-week stretch this young sophomore has been on, including the walk-off base hit against their rival McNeese, her former school, to win the Southland Conference tournament in Game 3. Looks at ball one low.
Best part about this situation right now for LSU is that it takes the decision-making out for their infield. They know they're going to go home. They know they have a force out. There wouldn't be a tag at the plate. It'll be a relief for the infield to know that before the ball comes to them.
Go ahead run at third base. Ball 3. Briley Ford this year 2 for 4 with the bases juiced, including a grand slam. Her only home run of the year. And instead she draws the go-ahead walk, driving in McGee from third. And now Beth Torina out of the LSU dugout. Mike Weiss against Arkansas went 1 2/3 and allowed 1 run on 3 hits. The senior Maddie Watson at the plate with the bases juiced. And looks at strike 1.
You have to be ready for anything and everything with Rick Freeman over there at third base, calling the shots with their speed, maybe a squeeze, but Maddie Watson has some pop in her bat, and she's been clutch in her career. Can't believe that that pitch was called a strike.
Watson is from the city of Baton Rouge. three-time All-State player at local Parkview Baptist. Relishing the opportunity to play in the Baton Rouge Regional in front of so many friends and family. And now sitting on a hitter's count with nowhere to put Watson. Now check that. Emrys Addison's going to correct the count and say it's 2-2.
Yeah, it was wrong on the scoreboard as well inside the park. It's correct now.
Has played in every single game each of the last 4 seasons, including starting a new position each of the last 3 seasons. This year sliding from second base to first base. And goes down looking, a big time strikeout from Vallejo for the first out of the inning.
Not easy to do at all. Not in an elimination game in this crowd against a team that knows you. But Ashley Vallejo able to work her screwball against Maddie Watson to get an important out and a much needed out with the bases loaded.
Colleen Cullivan comes to the plate. And you know she would love to add some insurance for her team, Amanda, after an error in left field allowed Danica Coffey to get to third base and eventually come around to score in the top of the first.
So much familiarity going up against a Southeastern team with Vallejo coming over from McNeese. 9 appearances against them in her career. Pitched in the NCAA tournament with McNeese a couple of seasons ago whenever they traveled to Seattle.
This is Vallejo's 3rd regional appearance, twice with McNeese, once at Northwestern, once against Washington, which you just referenced. McNeese was a couple of outs away from reaching a super regional against the Washington Huskies. 2-2 misses upstairs and a full count to Cullivan. Misses low, and another walk drawn to add to the tally in the first inning for the Lady Lions.
These are all such high leverage pitches as Vallejo enters into this game. Now 3 runs scored for Southeastern. The ball hasn't even left the infield.
This is feeling eerily similar to last night. Southeastern produced just 5 hits against LSU and yet managed to plate 4 runs, enough to win.
Well, and again, this all forced Beth Torina's hand to start Jaden Heavner in the first game on Friday. So much respect for Southeastern and being the 4 seed, 48 wins entering this regional. One of the toughest 4 seeds, if not the toughest, in any of the regionals. And so usually or oftentimes you might see a coach in the 1 versus 4 seed in the regional start their number 3 pitcher, maybe their number 4 pitcher, and save their 1 and 2. But she was forced to throw Jaden Heavner against them in last night's game, and it's really created what you're seeing right now in this elimination game.
Dixon up the middle, snared by Daniel. Only play at first, 2 down, but another run comes across. It's a 3-run lead for Southeastern.
Just perfectly placed right up the middle of the field.
Nothing has left the infield in the first inning for Southeastern, and yet they lead 4-1. Shanita Tucker in the 9 spot.
They've made LSU pitchers throw 36 pitches already in this first inning.
Shanita Tucker having a career year for a program in the midst of a historic season. Transferring in for her senior season from Lamar after she was the Southland Conference Newcomer of the Year a year ago. 0-2 from Vallejo. Was top 5 in the conference this year with a batting average nearing 400 in league play.
For LSU scored in the first inning, and first 2 hitters reached for LSU. But Southeastern being able to steal that momentum right back with Sydney Schneider throwing out Jayla Lassiter, caught her stealing. It was a big turning point, Matt. I know that that was just with the 3rd hitter of the entire game, but LSU picked up the bats first, scored first, and then trying to carry on the momentum and their aggressiveness, and Sydney Schneider shut him down. They got quick outs after that to turn it right back around and pick up the bats and score 4.
Tucker into left field, and Leno cannot get it. Wait a second, now she did get it according to J.C. Bartley. Struggling with the sun in left field, but somehow.
Here and Nyjah Kennedy ended up losing that super. And tough draw here. You know, LSU finished the regular season after the SEC tournament with an RPI of 4. And the selection show comes out, the bracket is announced, and they are a 10 seed. They had full expectations of grabbing a top 8 national seed, and then to boot, not only were they not a top 8 seed, which gets to host a super regional if you advance, but you have to face Nebraska. And with Nebraska comes Jordy Ball, one of the best pitchers in the country, one of the best players in the country. Everybody was wondering, as one of the storylines before the bracket came out, of where is Nebraska going to go? You knew that they weren't going to grab a top 16 national seed this year. Where are they going to go? Nobody wanted them because of Jordy Ball. So bad luck with a 10 seed for LSU and having to face Jordy Ball in the regional, which they haven't yet, but just seeing her name and Nebraska here.
After the Mackenzie Rudity single, Sierra Daniel comes to the plate for the first time tonight. You talk about bad luck having Jordy Ball in your regional. How about having Southeastern Louisiana as the 4th seed?
Absolutely. And UConn, a team that swings it well. First team eliminated here at this regional.
86% of hosts have reached super regionals since 2019. The last team to not do it was LSU in 2023, losing to another Louisiana school. UL Lafayette came here to Baton Rouge in 2023 and stunned the Tigers.
Well, a lot of people thought that Southeastern Louisiana easily could have been a 3 seed at a different regional. And again, tough luck for LSU as they come in as a 4.
Only play at first with Rudity moving and avoids the double play. 1 down in the 2nd inning. I don't care what league you play in, any team that's knocking on the door of 50 wins is a team you probably don't want to face in the NCAA tournament. That's the case with Southeastern. You'd one up near the bottom of the order. It is Maddox McKee. She has gone 3 for 6 in this regional with a double. And has a runner and Rudity just 60 feet away at 3rd. McKee is snared in midair by Maddie Watson to end the inning. And LSU strands their 21st runner of the NCAA tournament appearance and was instrumental in their 2 victories against Clemson and a narrow loss to Alabama early in that Tuscaloosa regional. 2 outs and an 0-2 count. Base is clear for Ashley Vallejo. And that catches the outside corner. A 1-2-3 inning for the McNeese transfer.
Here moving forward, the games are going to get really interesting because those seeds are going to be back up against the wall.
Hodge trying to bunt. No, says Maria Detillier. How good is she in the hot corner?
Look at that determination in her eyes. The Southeastern team, they lock in, they're focused, they're unintimidated. She was expecting it, kind of creeping in. See that LaRue gave way to her because she had the better angle to make that throw to first base. A great play by Detillier.
Back to the top of the order for Danica Coffey. Coffey with 5 hits in the regional. In 9 at-bats. And for Maria Detillier, Amanda, this is a young lady that never played third base until college, was recruited as a middle infielder, and then 5 games into her freshman season, Rick Freeman said, hey, how about you try the hot corner?
The plays that she has made over at third base, including the final out to beat LSU, a line drive toward the 5-6 hole. Just great read off the bat, unintimidated of a well-hit ball. She tracked down a foul ball over in the third base dugout. She's just been on fire and tested in a lot of different ways.
Oh, that just missed from LaRue. Over 180 starts later at third base, Detillier, a 2-time all-conference player. 1 down and a 2-2 count to Coffey. Outside, ball 3. Sydney Schneider doing her best to frame for LaRue, but Emerus Addison not buying in this at bat. The payoff is sent in the air to right. Dixon will make the play, 2 down.
With being a left-handed catcher, you're talking about Schneider framing pitches. We talked to her before the regional about what she does back behind the plate to be a better receiver, to create better angles. Oftentimes with her footwork, the way that she sets up, being able to create an angle with her bottom half to be able to inside and outside get better angles around pitches.
Jayla Lassiter right to Dixon. 6 straight retired for Macy LaRue. Then changed jerseys, freshened up, and here they are again in an elimination game with a chance to make their 2nd consecutive regional final.
About the at-bats that she's had in this regional, Matt, with that game-winning RBI against LSU in the 7th inning, then an RBI off of Jordy Ball earlier today. They faced Nebraska, throwing out Jayla Lassiter, stealing against her earlier in this game. The moments have come at Schneider fast in her first NCAA tournament game with his team, but she's handled them beautifully and has not been fazed by the moment.
Two-time JUCO All-American at Iowa Western. Hit a whopping .509 with 66 runs batted in at the junior college level last year. Has filled in seamlessly at the D1 level. Chopper Left side, Coffee on the move, makes the play, one away. Well, the Women's College World Series returns to Oklahoma City again this year. Action begins Thursday, May 29th, 12 Eastern, live right here on ESPN. For more information on the 2025 Women's College World Series, you can go to NCAA.com, the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. One away for Briley Ford. In the air to left, giving chase Leno, and it is off the base of the wall. And Briley Ford has a one-out double in the third.
Briley Ford's hands just look so free swinging at this pitch. Up and in her hands, but her hands just looked loose, able to get her barrel to that up and in pitch on time. Hit early in the count, first pitch that she saw and turned it into a double.
That is the first hit of the game for Southeastern. Yes, you heard me correct. They scored 4 runs in the first inning on 0 hits. How unsettling is it to pitch against a team like that, who can score on you without really even doing damage?
Well, it's frustrating when you're pitching because you're feeling like you're making pitches and creating some not great contact, but it's more unsettling if you're a defender, just anticipating the ball, thinking about what you're going to do with it, getting sped up with their speed. They put pressure on you like really no other team in this tournament.
Inside ball 3 to Maddie Watson. Struck out looking in her first at bat against Ashley Vallejo, who came in the first inning with the bases loaded to relieve the starter Tatum Clopton. And the 40th pitch is a surprising strike to Watson. This is how Rick Freeman's team scored in the first inning. They were 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position, but it didn't matter. All 4 runs unearned in the first inning.
It makes you give a lot of credit to Nebraska, who faced them earlier today and only gave up 1 run to them. Tells you, I think, about the frame of mind and the state that Nebraska is in, doing a lot of things right in the circle, up at the plate, playing good defense against a team that's just different than what you're used to facing.
Fly ball to center. Lassiter makes the catch. 2 down. I think the difference, Amanda, in that Nebraska game too, though, is that the Huskers jumped Southeastern early. They played from ahead with momentum. The screws weren't quite as tight on the Husker defenders as maybe they are right now on LSU.
Well, and they kept scoring. LSU scored first in this game in the top of the first. They scored first in last night's game against them, but they stopped scoring later in the game. And against a team like Southeastern Louisiana, if you don't put your foot on the gas pedal and continue to push it down like Nebraska did, scoring 14 runs against them earlier today, by far the most runs that this team has given up, they're not going to go away.
1-1 to Colleen Cullivan. Runner in scoring position, 2 down here in the third. To your point, all 7 of LSU's runs in this tournament have come in the first 3 innings. They have not scored after the third yet in this tournament.
And I just feel like watching LSU, Matt, I just don't feel like they're having a lot of fun playing the game. We've seen them now for 3 games now, and they had the most fun early in the first game against Southeastern last night when they scored early. But then when Southeastern answered back, it seemed like the fun stopped happening.
Is that pressure?
Pressure, expectations, just playing not to lose instead of playing to win. There's a difference in the mindset. And you start to feel the pressure more, of course, when it's the postseason and your season is on the line. Your goals are on the line.
2-2. Cullivan, left side, diving play, it short by Avery Hodge. A Gold Glove effort in the turn. Drew back in the circle has set down 6 in a row. And a strike on the first pitch to Macy Bergeron. This is an LSU team that has been incredibly battle-tested this year. Third straight 40-win season for the Tigers under Beth Torina. A top 5 RPI, 18 wins against the top 25. But it's always interesting, Amanda, when you're expected to win. And it's the team playing without any pressure who brings the game to you early with your season on the line. Seven in a row, retired by LaRue, almost. It took her eye off the ball, perhaps.
Kicking herself, I'm sure about that. She's been pitching so well, but difficult to barrel up, and this is just another example of that, with Bergeron getting jammed, getting underneath it, and just closed her glove too soon. Took her eye off of it.
Bergeron didn't even realize what had happened until she got to first base, not looking back at the pop-up. And now Tori Edwards, if you're just joining us for this tournament, comes to the plate with a runner on. Has that been the theme of the weekend for LSU?
Just feels like you need her to break out right now. You need her power, her home run ability to game-changing swing, but you can't swing at pitches like that. LSU, not a big home run hitting team, and Southeastern, not a team that gives up a lot of home runs. In fact, before the game earlier today against Nebraska, they had only given up 12 home runs all season. Nebraska hit 4, so that total is up to 16. But LSU has just needed that big hit, Matt. And they get those big hits, just the powerful bust the game open hits from players like Bergeron and Tori Edwards this season, but it's just been missing for her in these moments.
One home run away from breaking the LSU single season program record. Searching for her first career hit in the NCAA tournament. The 1-2 from LaRue.
They've handled her really well here at the regional, and even going back to the SEC tournament, just getting a heavy dose of changeups, and pitchers have been working off speed against her and having a lot of success with it, as Macy LaRue continues to change speeds in this game too.
Edwards lays off the rise and a full count to the SEC Freshman of the Year. Goes down swinging for the second time tonight.
Goes to the changeup in a full count. What a good pitch. It would have been likely a ball actually crosses at the knees, but maybe it was just a little bit inside. But Tori Edwards strikes out on the changeup. Macy LaRue with a pitch and a full count threw her just about everything in that AB.
Strike one to Mackenzie Rudity, who does have one of LSU's 3 hits tonight against LaRue. But they've only managed 1 since the first inning. LaRue has gotten better as this game has worn along. And her 50th pitch, strike 2.
And what a story by Macy LaRue. She told us that she was told she would never make it as a pitcher. She threw for JV her freshman, sophomore, and junior year, ended up making varsity her senior year because she can't play JV as a senior. And then she ended up getting an opportunity to play out of JUCO, and it was her pitching coach there who completely turned her confidence around, Amanda Norberg. People told her she would never see this stage at the Division I level or pitch in college even at all. And she's out here proving them wrong.
told us she completely reinvented herself at the junior college level. And this year, the newcomer of the year in the Southland Conference. What a season. They needed it for a program that replaced their top 3 pitchers from a year ago. Here is the 1-2 to Rudity. In the air to right field, down the line, and a fair ball. Up to third goes Bergeron. They will hold on the double by Rudity.
Rudity has been grounding out to third base a lot in this regional and finally gets an inside pitch that's a little bit elevated and gets underneath it instead of on top of it with her swing. A line drive down the right field line that barely lands fair. Again, luck going the way of LSU with that ball landing in fair territory instead of pulling foul. This is a huge opportunity with them with 2 runners in scoring position here in this game.
Tying run comes to the plate in the form of Sierra Daniel. First pitch swinging, flared into left, down for a base hit. In to score, Bergeron.
Gear, a rally bucket top. There are a lot of rally props in the LSU dugout using everything that they can.
Leno down for a base hit into center. 1-run game in Baton Rouge.
How about Daniel and Leno swinging early in the count? The first pitch that they see, turning it into 2 singles, attacking the inner half, maybe looking for that side of the plate, expecting it, getting their barrels there and turning it into hits. LSU hitters now in this inning spraying the ball all over the field against LaRue and cutting the sleeve down to just 1 run.
And how costly was that error by Macy LaRue against the leadoff hitter, Macy Bergeron? Had she caught that ball and struck out Edwards, 2 outs with nobody on. Instead, Bergeron came around to score on the single by Daniel, and now a 1-run game and perhaps a pitching change from Rick Freeman. And we are going to see Lainey Bailey, who was nails last night against LSU. 1 run.
You off balance. Second time that they faced her in back-to-back days, just like they did against Macy LaRue.
Macy LaRue out for now in the 4th with 1 down and 2 on. Fly ball left side, foul territory. Tracking Detillier makes the play, 2 away.
They had been hunting early. That would be 3 plate appearances in a row where they swung at the first pitch. Daniel, Leno, and then McKee being aggressive early in the count.
Avery Hodge, 1 for 6 in the regional. Tying run in scoring position in the 4th. Last 2 outings plus, Lainey Bailey has gone 12 innings without allowing a run.
You know she's
in the count to Hodge 2-0.
You know she's coming in with a lot of confidence after her outing last night and with the past couple of outings that she's been stringing together late in this season. These are the biggest innings that she's ever pitched in her career.
Good block behind home by Sydney Schneider, who is playing for a chance at a rematch on Championship Sunday against the flagship program from her home state, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. 3-0 count to Hodge. And a walk to load the bases for the leadoff hitter, Danica Coffey.
Batting for the Tigers, third base number 13, Danica Coffey.
Tying run 60 feet away.
LSU has not had an issue in this regional getting runners on. It's been getting the big hit and driving them in.
It is what Beth Torina told us they lacked when we spoke to her before this inning. Timely hitting in the critical moments. They've gotten a few key hits here in this inning, plating 2. Trailing by 1 in the 4th. Coffee in the left field. It is out of the reach of Colleen Cullivan.
I remember in their last game against UConn, they were 0 for 6 with the bases loaded in that game.
Coffee with 5 hits in the regional, including 3 against UConn earlier today. And the 1-2 just foul to the left of the third base bag. How fitting that the 5th-year senior from Richwood, Texas would come up in this spot. Everyone's favorite player, in the words of the LSU coaching staff. And every player on this team has said this is her team. We go as Danica Coffey goes. That gets past Schneider. And the score from third and tie the game is Sierra Daniel.
We've seen a big kickback off the backstop when pitches get behind the catcher in a wild pitch situation like this, off the padding, off the netting, and Sierra Daniel got a great read in her home park. Her feet never stopped moving. Her hand got in right as Schneider dove toward her to tie up this game. What a change of events that this 4th inning has held for LSU.
Hodge and Leno both advanced. Go ahead run at third base. What a swing of emotion and momentum in this ballpark, which had been dead silent the last 2 innings. After LSU jumped out to a 1-0 lead, and Southeastern Louisiana responded with 4 runs in the bottom of the 1st. Full count to Coffey. Coffey up the middle, only play at first base, and
you know she understands throwdown. There's no fear in that kid.
This is a Bayou battle, Coach. Where else would you rather be on a Saturday night?
Nowhere. We're here, and we want to stay here until tomorrow.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Coach.
you.
Appreciate your time. Back in the 1st inning, you want to talk about competing, Amanda? 0 hits, 4-run score. They grab a 3-run lead after the 1st inning.
This offense puts pressure on defenders like maybe no other in the tournament. Puts the ball on the ground, they put the ball in play, and they just leave it up to the defenders to try to make a decision to make a play against them with their speed. They scored 4 runs and answered right back in the bottom of the 1st inning after LSU put 1 on the board in the top.
6 of their 8 runs scored in this tournament against the Tigers have been unearned. That's the type of pressure that Beth Torina told us she was concerned about Amanda coming into this tournament. And it's nothing new. Yes, maybe new players come into the program every year for Rick Freeman, but it's the same style, the same grit, the same Bayou blood that they recruit in Hammond, Louisiana. And again, it plays at the highest level of Division I softball.
When we had a chance last year to talk to Rick Freeman about who he likes to recruit, he goes right away to this homegrown talent. They want a roster with Bayou blood, and they've done that from day one, from 2016 on, when after all these players along I-10, along I-12, If they had a boot next to their address, we leaned into that, he said. They want blue-collar kids. Because it really feels like the boot kids, the Bayou Blood, their parents have instilled a great culture in them, great values in them at home. And it made his job a lot easier to just develop them and put forth into their culture to make it stronger.
2-2 to Dixon. Up the middle and off the glove of Avery Hodge. And the leadoff hitter is aboard in the fourth for Southeastern.
Good two-strike hit here by Kaylee Dixon, just shooting this ball right back up the middle of the field. Hodge had a good read. Glove a little bit too high, anticipating a hop, but it would have been a close play anyway with her speed getting down the line. I think that was going to be a hit all the way.
Rare miss for Hodge in this tournament. She has been so good at short for LSU. 6 putouts, 8 assists in 14 chances, and no errors for the Oklahoma transfer. And now Shanita Tucker.
This is a tough spot in the order for LSU's defense. With the speed of Dixon, the speed of Tucker, and her very good eye that she has at the plate, and then speed with Morris and McGee, the top of the order on deck behind Tucker.
Shanita Tucker, such an interesting story. Began her career at Florida Southwestern State, won consecutive JUCO national titles. Began her Division I career last year at Lamar, also in the Southland Conference, won Newcomer of the Year. Drops down a bunt, Vallejo fields. Quick play at first, not in time. She beats it out in her first season playing for Southeastern.
I'm telling you, this is a tough part of the order for LSU's defense to face because of a touch like that with the bunt. Right back toward the pitcher, and then she just uses her speed to get down the line. Those quick steps, the emotion after she gets through.
She jumped into the portal at the end of an excellent season last year at Lamar and called Rick Freeman and said, "You're the only place for me in the country." Popped up off the glove of both players. Vallejo spins and fires the third after running into Coffey, who was in from third. A nearly devastating play saved by the McNeese transfer.
LSU got lucky to get an out here. Popped up bunt, should have been an out here, but the ball didn't get too far away where they were still able to get the force out at third. But look at even the throw to third base. They rush you in so many different ways. This throw is not even on target, but Avery Hodge able to keep that ball in the infield and out of left field. That easily could have gotten behind her.
So Shelby Morris reaches at first base, 1 out. Chloe McGee at the plate. And the go-ahead run in scoring position in Shanita Tucker, who has elite speed. 25 stolen bases for the young woman that was drawn to the culture you referenced at the top of the inning, Amanda. There was only one place in the country for her to finish out her career, and it was in Hammond, Louisiana.
I'll tell you what, I've not written down so many fielders' choices on my scorecard in a really long time, but it's called that for a reason because they have to make a decision. It's a fielder's choice what to do with the ball with the runners on base.
Chopper in from short. Hodge on the run makes the play, 2 down. Both runners advance, and the go-ahead run now 60 feet away. Well, tomorrow, Sunday Night Baseball returns. The Subway Series finale between the Mets and the Yankees, 7 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Radio. Our coverage, of course, begins at 6 Eastern with Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown. Maria Detillier at the plate. Looks at strike 1 from Ashley Vallejo. Her team 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position tonight.
You know, I'd say you have to pitch her carefully, and I think that you still do, but maybe you think about pitching around her if Sydney Schneider is not hitting behind her. She's had such a great tournament. Still got to be careful with her, knowing that Maria Detillier is just a professional hitter. Having the best season at the plate. That's why I think Beth Torina is going to come out and talk about this situation. Tie game, 3-4 hitters coming up for Southeastern. Let's talk about it. Here's what we're going to do. This is our game plan going up against her. This is who is on deck. This is how we're going to attack her.
How would you attack her?
I'd pitch her very carefully and see if I could get her to get herself out. As great of a hitter as she is, she's yet to get a hit in the NCAA tournament, and Schneider has had a couple of hits in every game.
Detillier had an 11-game on-base streak snapped in today's loss to Nebraska. Meanwhile, Ashley Vallejo has not allowed an earned run in 3 2/3 innings of relief. Again, this is her first appearance of the NCAA tournament and just her second appearance for LSU since April 22nd. How about that for trust from your head coach, Beth Torina?
Going at her. It's a big swing right there by Detillier. A hittable pitch, but it goes in the way of Vallejo to get that second strike.
2 outs, 2-2 count. Go ahead run at third base in the 4th. Inside, ball 3.
I think that screwball just a little bit off the plate, but Vallejo wanted it bad, and so did these fans. In this tie game and an elimination game, that's for sure.
Does it wear on you? The end of 3 days in a regional, if you've played in consistent high leverage games?
Oh yeah, the heat, the intensity, the pressure, it absolutely wears on you. And that's why you want to try to stay in the driver's seat and be the team that enters Sunday with a 2-0 record like Nebraska here at the Baton Rouge Regional, with LSU as the 10 seed. Remember, they lost their first game last night against Southeastern.
Meanwhile, Nebraska hasn't been in seemingly any high leverage moments this weekend. Shot to the right side, fielded by Morris, 1 down. They have run ruled back-to-back opponents. UConn on day 1, Southeastern earlier this morning. Sitting pretty at 2-0. The first team in our regional to punch a ticket to Championship Sunday. That is what is on the line for both of these teams tonight. Tied at 4, top 5, 1 down for Macy Bergeron.
I think people are used to seeing a Jordy Ball pitching package in the postseason, but swinging the bat in the postseason, she did not have an at-bat in Oklahoma when she was at Oklahoma in the postseason, making the most of her ABs at the plate here.
Do you continue to pitch to her tomorrow, regardless of who wins this game tonight?
It's tough to say yes or no. I mean, if you say no, well, then the rest of the offense is going to step up and beat you like they did today. And if you pitch to her, she walked 3 times. They pitched her in the 4th at bat, and she hit a home run. It's lose-lose right now with Nebraska's offense with the way that they're hitting the ball.
There's basically 2 outcomes when ball comes to the plate in this regional. Home run, walk. 3-0 count to Bergeron. And she draws a 1-out walk on 4 pitches. Go ahead run aboard in the 5th for LSU. And the SEC Freshman of the Year who has struggled to start in her first NCAA tournament experience, Amanda has a chance to put her team in front in the late innings in this elimination game.
feel like she has been seeing the ball really well as Jones enters as a pinch runner over at first base, but being able to pick up different speeds, especially striking out on a changeup in her last at bat, struck out on a curveball in her first at bat.
Samaya Jones has 4 stolen bases this year and 13 runs scored. A strategic move late in this game by Beth Torina. Meanwhile, Rick Freeman's going to make a move, and it appears rather that it will be in the circle. It will be the Ole Miss transfer, Hallie Burns.
Interesting
who got
move.
the start today, Amanda, in the loss to Nebraska.
Yeah, curveball specialist, so these pitches will likely be riding away from Tori Edwards on the outside corner. Thinking that that's why Rick Freeman likes this matchup. Throwing the curveball, working the outside part of the plate to Edwards, who really thrives on the inner half. More of a pull hitter with her home run power. And so with Burns coming in, she'll rely on that curveball, a little bit of upspin with her rise ball, and that off speed is actually an off-speed curveball. So pitches are moving away from a right-handed hitter with her curveball and her off-speed curveball about 60% of the time.
Hallie Burns faced the Tigers in their regular season here at Tiger Park back in February. Won 1 2/3, allowing 1 earned run on 2 hits and 3 walks. Ultimately sacked with the loss in a game in which LSU walked off Southeastern. Tori Edwards with the go-ahead run aboard here in the 5th. And despite her struggles at the plate in this regional, a sensational talent. Beth Torina told us she's never been around a player quite like Edwards. Takes the 2-0 deep to right field. It is caught on the run. Crashing into the wall by Kaylee Dixon. A potential game-saving catch in right, and 2 down in the 5th.
Great approach by Tori Edwards. She knew she was going to get something outside, and she goes the opposite way with power, but it's just not enough. And Kaylee Dixon is able to track it down up against the wall, ball moving away from her off the bat. What a great play by Kaylee Dixon. Good swing by Tori Edwards, but comes away with nothing.
Runner goes, it's Jones, throw down, not in time, and Jones has her 5th stolen base of the season.
And remember, that right side of the field in the air is the toughest place to hit it out of this ballpark with the way that the wind blows across the field.
And we might see a challenge here from Rick Freeman. To see if Jones left early on the stolen base attempt. We will hear from Matt Dial right now.
Call on the field is that the runner left on time at first base. Southeast Louisiana is challenging that she left early. This play is under further review.
So we've seen this a lot here at this regional with a lot of speed on these teams, is that the coaches on a steal or even just on a runner advancement will challenge if the runner left early. And Taylor Pleasant's the first base coach is actually blocking this angle, so we're not going to be able to get a look there. But Jones, ooh, that's
the closest one we've seen in this regional.
It is, and I think that it just might be the best jump that we've seen. she left on time. Right there, the ball looks like it's out of her hand and her toe is just leaving the field. I don't think that there's enough to overturn this. I think she left right on time.
That is a great camera angle right there.
I think it's right on time.
And maybe too close to overturn.
Yeah, I think that's a great jump. Oftentimes when we've seen these this weekend, the runners have actually been late. But with her stealing, that is a great jump by Jones, the pinch runner.
Quick review by our crew in Pittsburgh. We will hear from Matt Dial after the official decision.
After further review, it has been upheld that the runner left on time. The runner is safe. That's Southeastern's first challenge.
You know Jones's heart stops in that moment, and you're just dying at second base, waiting for the ruling to come in.
Big moment for the freshman from Pearland, Texas. A chance to score the potential go-ahead run in an elimination game with a trip to Championship Sunday on the line. She stands in scoring position. And ball 2 to Mackenzie Rudity.
Well, and Matt, this LSU offense has worked really hard on base running this year. It's a big part of their offensive game, a big part of what generates run scoring for them, taking extra bases, going hard, home to first. And just doing the little things right on the base pass, little things right, like Jones being right on time with that lead to move herself into scoring position.
.30 taking all the way, and a walk on 4 pitches for Rudity. In her last at bat, Sierra Dingle produced an RBI single. Part of a 3-run 4th inning for LSU to tie the game at 4 apiece. Beth Tarina told us her sophomore from Chandler, Arizona is a gamer. Whatever the team needs at any point in the game, she is the one in their lineup that can go to the plate and provide it.
And lefties against Hallie Burns are hitting over 100 points higher off of her than righties because of that curveball spin that she likes to go to.
Daniel batting nearly 400 this year with runners in scoring position. Go-ahead run at second base. 2 outs and a 1-2 count for Alabama on Championship Sunday, and that catches a piece of Sydney Schneider. So the leadoff hitter is aboard for Southeastern in the 5th.
Trying to work this curveball inside, gets the back arm of Schneider.
Cannot say enough about the performance tonight by Ashley Vallejo. If you're just joining us, this is her 2nd appearance since April 22nd. First in an NCAA tournament game for LSU.
And you know, sometimes in those moments it takes you a little while to get comfortable and you work into the game, but Vallejo wasn't really awarded that opportunity.
Butt popped up, Vallejo handles it. 1 away. Well, tomorrow it is Game 7. The best 2 words in postseason sports. The Thunder afternoon, 3:30 Eastern on ABC. The Countdown crew tips off our coverage at 3 Eastern, 2 Central.
But she came in, Matt, ready to go. came into a pressure situation with runners on base, and she was ready to go from pitch number 1, despite only pitching a couple of times in the past few weeks.
But as Beth Torina told us, and as we have talked about over the course of her relief appearance, she does have extensive postseason experience. Came into the day with nearly 22 innings in regionals. All, of course, with her former team and former Southland foe of Southeastern, McNeese. And was at one point the pitcher of the year in that conference. 1-1 count to Maddie Watson. Laser in the air to left field. It is off the wall. Schneider testing the arm, is safe at third. Ball gets away. Schneider going home. The throw is not in time. Lady Lions take the lead.
Watch Maddie Watson go up and get this rise ball and get on playing with it. Turn that rise ball not into a pop-up, a lazy pop-up, but a line drive off the wall. And it was the throw that hit Schneider. She made the decision to go home and got her hand there before the tag. Schneider making things happen again in this regional.
She had the game-winning RBI last night in the 7th. She has scored the go-ahead run here in the 5th with a spot in Championship Sunday on the line for both teams. And the second error of the night on LSU.
Jane Leno played this ball really well off the left field wall. This is her home field. She got the bounce quickly in her hands, and Avery Hodge let the throw go through. Danica Coffey was behind the base runner and behind the bag, and it allowed that throw to hit Schneider, bounce off of her, and then she read it down and took home.
And now the infield drawn in for LSU. Runner at third, only one out. Strike one to Colleen Cullivan. This is a major moment in the game, with the Tigers down 1 and just a couple of innings remaining for a Tiger team that, remember, is the road team in this game. Can Colleen Cullivan deliver? The first hit for Southeastern in this game with runners in scoring position. They are 0 for 10 to this point. Another Louisiana native from Covington, and a 3-year starter in Rick Freeman's outfield. Down in the count, 0-2. All 5 of Southeastern's runs tonight unearned. 4 coming in the first, 1 here in the 5th to take the lead. Sydney Berzon getting loose in the LSU pen. got the start in the first elimination game of the day against UConn. 1-2 to Cullivan.
And we have not seen Jane Huebner today through last night against Southeastern, so they got a lot of looks off of her in that game. Did not see Sydney Berzon, who threw earlier today.
80th pitch of the game from Vallejo is popped up foul behind home. Eighth pitch of the at-bat coming to Colleen Cullivan. And Cullivan to Daniel. Throw is off the line. It's a 2-run lead for Southeastern. The pressure of the Lady Lions making LSU defense bend a little bit here in the 5th.
And Coach Freeman using his deep roster with speed with Broussard over at third base, the pinch runner. Would have been a close play even with a perfect throw, but that throw was to the first base side of Bergeron. No play at all to be able to go down and make the tag. And not only does Southeastern come away with a run, they have another base runner and did not get an out in that play.
The back and forth swings of this game, and now again Beth Torina finds herself trailing by multiple runs. This time though with just 2 innings left. And again, the capacity crowd at Tiger Park has gone quiet.
Southeastern just always seems to put the ball in play at the right spot on the field. If they're not barreling up extra base hits in the alleys, then they're putting the ball on the ground and making the defenders make a play and make a decision.
One-two count to Kaylee Dixon. To Daniel, flip to second, good, and Hodge does not have time to try and get the double play. 2 outs, and Dixon at first. And the fielder's choices just keep stacking up on the old lineup card for Southeastern.
There have been a lot of fielder's choice RBIs as well.
Five fielder's choices in the game. Multiple walks, couple of errors. Tucker, base hit left field, extending the inning for Southeastern and flipping the lineup over to Shelby Morris.
Tucker gets a pitch up in the zone 2 that she is just able to handle. Southeastern has done a good job late in this Vallejo outing of being able to get her rise ball and hit it to the outfield, a pitch that's more up and they can just drive it. And I think no surprise here. I was just about to say, I feel like we're going to see a pitching change after that Tucker single to extend this inning.
It will be the 2-time All-American Sydney Berzon taking over for Ashley Vallejo, who gets a standing ovation from the crowd up the first base line as she exits. Berzon has had an up and down year. However, today in a must-win game, she delivered. Amanda, 7 innings pitched, no earned runs on 5 hits.
She looked really well, or looked really great in that elimination game earlier today. When she's her most effective, her drop ball, she's been able to locate it through the zone and out of the zone to be able to get these hitters to chase. She will stay down in the zone with that drop ball, rolls a lot of ground balls because of it. It's her rise ball that serves as more of an off-speed pitch and a third speed with her changeup. That rise ball, opponents are just hitting 177 off of that off-speed rise ball that she can locate in different planes.
Tasked with keeping this a 2-run game with 2 on and 2 out, and the top of the Lady Lion lineup due up here in the 5th. Shelby Morris has reached on a walk, and yep, you guessed it, a fielder's choice. Ball 2 to Morris.
Late in this game, just Southeastern is pulling all the momentum on their side. And how about this? The last time that Sydney Berzon pitched twice in the same day was March 2nd, 2024, when she pitched against South Dakota State in McNeese. So over a year ago that she was called on into this role where she pitched in one game and then came in another.
Oh, and a strike, catching the surprise of Shelby Morris, who was halfway up the first baseline.
Looked a little bit out, maybe a little bit outside, but Berzon gets the call.
3-1. Schumacher and the 2-time Aggie All-American Amanda Scarborough with you. 7, 8, and 9 due up in the order for LSU, including Jaden Leno. Taking on Hallie Burns, the transfer from Ole Miss. Leno to the right side. It's Morris scooping and firing, and it gets past Watson, and Leno stays put at first base. The third miscue defensively for Southeastern, and the tying run will come to the plate for LSU.
Just so uncharacteristic, but when you're playing in an elimination game, you feel the pressure, you start to force things a little bit, get in your head about the throw, and sometimes it leads to an error. Both teams feeling this pressure late in this game, seasons depending on it.
Maddox McKee with 3 hits in the regional stands in. Strike 1. Remember back in the 4th, Macy Bajeron led off for LSU, reached on an error. Tigers took advantage, plating 3 runs to tie the game. McKee again to second. The tag was not made, but the flip to first was in time. Lead runner into scoring position in Leno, 1 down.
That was close with the tag. Leno avoids it, but just narrowly. Woo! That was so close. Just missed her, and Morris knew it.
Avery Hodge at the plate for the Tigers in the 9 spot.
I think the biggest thing that Southeastern pitchers have been able to do against this LSU offense is change speeds. Just giving them fits in both the games that we've seen. They've been difficult to barrel up with how well the pitch calling has been called and how well they've changed speeds. Again.
I haven't seen a ton of small ball by LSU tonight, though they do have the ability to do it. It's been a lot of swinging away for the Tiger hitters. Oh, and that caught a piece of Hodge upstairs. And she will gingerly walk up to first base. But the tying run is aboard for LSU in the top of the 6th.
It's curveball, getting away from Burns, holding on to it right in between the shoulders of Hodge. Oh, that hurts. Look, you have 2 free base runners on board right now via an error and a hit by pitch in the top of the lineup coming up. I mean, there's just no doubt about it in my mind that LSU has to score right here and answer back.
Again, it's Danica Coffey. Who, as we talked about, has been the consistent catalyst this year for the Tigers. The second team All-SEC choice in a redshirt senior season from Richwood, Texas. Coffey in the air to left. Down the line is Cullivan making the play, and both runners will stay at first and second base. 2 outs in the 6th. Jayla Lassiter has produced 3 hits in this regional, and time called by the Southeastern head coach Rick Freeman.
Some very detailed conversation here with Hallie Burns. To read lips. Usually I'm pretty good at it, but I couldn't read it. Maybe it's the Cajun accent that's tripping me up a little bit.
Hallie Burns, one of a number of new pitchers on this staff that replaced their top 3 from last year. Really remarkable when you think about everybody that Southeastern replaced, including a handful of starters in the field, and yet here they are again in back-to-back years, 1 game away from a regional final. Outside to Lassiter, ball 1.
If I'm Lassiter going up against a curveball pitcher that has been pitching a changeup consistently, my mind is thinking about driving the ball to right field, toward right center. And of course, she'll come with an inside pitch like that, and that's okay, but you know she's going to come on the outside corner again. You know that likely to give you a changeup, get in that opposite field rhythm and drive the ball to the right side.
Jayla Lassiter, a former teammate of Hallie Burns at Ole Miss. Came to LSU for a different experience. Drives this into the gap in left center. 1 run is in. They will wave Hodge. Tie game in Baton Rouge.
Massive. And when you go up with the mindset to take the ball the opposite way on a changeup, sometimes you just drive it up the middle of the field. And Jayla Lassiter on time with the changeup did not get fooled at all. Maybe the biggest swing in Jayla Lassiter's entire career is this double that drives in 2 to tie the game. And LSU answers right back.
With 2 outs and 2 on, Jayla Lassiter delivering the punch to counter back and bring LSU back into this game. Her team high 15th double, none bigger than that, Amanda. And we are tied in the 6th with a spot in the championship game still hanging in the balance between 2 teams separated by less than 1 hour in the state of Louisiana. And a pitching change for Rick Freeman, his 4th arm used tonight. It will be his transfer from Syracuse, Brittany Lewinsky.
of different looks that Southeastern Louisiana can bring with a deep pitching staff. They love to make moves, mix things up. Both teams going deep into their staff, showing multiple different arms in this elimination game.
LSU, after losing the first game of this regional in shocking fashion to Southeastern last night, trying to avoid home regional losses for the second time in 3 years. Meanwhile, Southeastern, have they been the darling of the tournament over the last 2 years or what? Trying to get back to Championship Sunday, Amanda, in just their second trip to the NCAA tournament in program history.
It's the way that they fight. It's the way that they hustle. It's the way that they never give up. They're really an inspiration for anybody who watches. Consistently the underdog in the game, but they never play that way.
Lewinsky misses high to Macy Bergeron. A chance to give LSU the lead. She was oh so close to a walk-off home run last night in the bottom of the 7th. Pulled a towering shot down the line and left just foul in an at-bat that resulted in a fly out to right field. (2-0) from Lewinsky. And should Bergeron reach, it's the SEC Freshman of the Year, Tori Edwards, on deck for the Tigers.
Talking about that changeup that has just been given LSU fits all game long. And it was Lassiter who barreled one up to tie up this game. Back-to-back changeups there to get back into the count.
Bergeron enjoying the best season of her career at the plate by far. A near .430 hitter with RISP this year. Lays off the payoff to extend the inning for Tori Edwards.
Remember, in her last at bat, Tori Edwards had a well-struck ball to the right side. They have pitched her very well. This is a hitter with 18 home runs, trying to break the LSU record. Struck out twice in her first at bat, but her best at bat of the game was her last AB.
The best hitter statistically in this LSU lineup all year, looking for her first hit of the 2025 NCAA tournament with a go-ahead run in scoring position.
The ball just comes off of her bat different.
Strike call by home plate umpire Emerus Addison, and a 1-2 count to Edwards. Lewinsky trying to get out of this inning with a tie game.
You have to be so careful because Tori Edwards at any point could just turn it on. Have to hit a corner. You cannot miss over the plate here.
So often throughout the SEC regular season, Tori Edwards, one of the most feared hitters in the country. A top 10 finalist for National Freshman of the Year in her redshirt freshman campaign. 2-2 pitch from Lewinsky.
It's a good job of getting rid of that changeup. A pitch that maybe earlier in the game she would have swung and missed through. Saw that pitch a little bit deeper. not getting out in front of herself.
Beth Torina told us it's not just the power and the speed and the raw ability of Edwards, but the way she studies the film. Takes the 2-2 to the left side. McGee on the first. It is not in time, and around to score Lassiter. LSU grabs the lead in the 6th. And Rick Freeman is out of the Southeastern dugout. We will likely have a review.
Great hustle down the line by Tori Edwards to even make this a close play. And Chloe McGee forced her throw, sat back on it a little bit, and then threw it right into the dirt. And I thought Maddie Watson picked it for the out, but they must be saying that she didn't have control of the ball.
Going on the field is that the runner is safe at first base. Southeast Louisiana challenging the call on the field.
I thought she had control of it. The ball doesn't move once it gets in her glove. I think that she's out. Her foot's on the bag. She picked that ball out of the dirt. Not an easy play at all for a first baseman.
First base umpire Laura King. Look at that angle there. Had a good angle, but maybe not the best angle of what was happening in the glove of Maddie Watson. Clearly, Amanda, she felt like something happened to the ball in the glove. Does it bobble a little bit? Is that what caught the eye of Laura King, the first base umpire?
I didn't think that it did. Maybe a little bit. And that's why the call on the field is so important. But also, it's like, how did Laura King see that when it's blocked from her angle? I think this is going to be really tough to overturn, to be honest. I don't think that there is enough evidence to overturn it.
And again, like so many plays that have been reviewed in this elimination game, the call on the field is the most important thing here. Enough video evidence to overturn? Rick Freeman is hoping so, to wipe that go-ahead run off the board for LSU.
By the way, I've never felt like so many eyes are on us. All the LSU fans are looking up here with the lights on in our booth, looking for us to give them a safe or an out call. You know, and we're not the determining factor here. We're just the bearer of the news.
Neither of us want that responsibility.
No, a lot of eyes are on us asking, knowing how important this is in the game. These people in front of us were all turning toward us and more over on the sides.
Matt Dial and Laura King up the right field line, chatting with our replay officials in Pittsburgh. We have been told that a decision has been made, though we, like you, are awaiting what that official decision is. And here comes Matt Dial. Potential game-winning run here is at play.
After further review, it's been determined that the ball was received with control prior to the runner getting there.
Sydney Berzon in the circle for LSU, their third arm used tonight. The game that started with Tatum Clopton, a long and solid relief effort by Ashley Vallejo in her first postseason appearance as a Tiger. And now Berzon, who for the first time in over a calendar year is being tasked with pitching in 2 games in the same day. Taking on Chloe McGee here. Backing up Hodge, sidearm sling to first. And the flexibility at first of Tori Edwards paying off there, 1 down.
Avery Hodge has really been tested today, hasn't she? They'll step up and make a lot of different plays.
Amanda, when you look at the last 3 times these teams have played, of course, 2 walk-off wins for LSU. All 3 games have been decided by 2 runs or less as Maria Detillier looks at ball 1. What in your mind does this game come down to over the next 2 innings?
Being able to make plays on defense and be clean. Already 5 errors in this game. You can tell that the defenders have felt the pressure.
Detillier has a base knock on a board for the Lady Lions in the 6th.
And that's her first hit in the NCAA tournament this year. She was so good last year, has hit the ball hard, and had a lot of great at-bats in this tournament, but finally something to show for it in terms of stats with a hit here in the 6th inning.
And now Sydney Schneider comes to the plate, who delivered the game-winning RBI against LSU a night ago. Southeastern Louisiana 1 win away from 50. Entered the tournament with the 2nd most wins in Division I softball. Up the middle, bobbled. Berzon, does she flip it in time? Yes. Up to second goes Detillier.
It's an adjustment from a play earlier today where the ball took her that way and she threw overhand and made a bad throw. You can tell she's just not 100% comfortable throwing the ball to first base. Took a couple of steps toward first, tossed it underhand. That was a close play, but she got the out.
Tori Edwards was like Gumby to get that ball into her mitt in time. What a moment here for Briley Ford. Has doubled and walked in a run in this game. But remember, it was Ford's RBI single in the decisive game 3 of the Southland Champ Series game against McNeese, putting her team into the NCAA tournament and walking off the Cowgirls about a week ago. Southeastern 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position tonight, and 1 for 19 in the tournament.
Southland Conference Championship game was just a wild ending. McNeese at one point thought that they had it won. They had dogpiled on the field. A review happened. It got overturned, and Briley Ford had a chance to come up and get the game-winning hit. One of the wildest endings I think that I've ever seen. But I'll tell you what, Matt, Southeastern knows how to play in these close games. They're not scared of a tie game late in the game, a 1-run game. They're very comfortable playing in these tight games no matter who they're playing.
2-2 count. Berzon sees it go up the middle. Detillier going home. The throw in, not in time. Southeastern takes the lead late in Baton Rouge. And Briley Ford again delivering in the clutch for the Lady Lions.
Just poking this drop ball right back up the middle of the field. She's ahead of it, but shoots it right back up the middle. Briley Ford comes through again. Detillier got a great jump going all the way. Clearly beats the throw by a mile. Southeastern takes the lead.
And how big now was that overturn at first base, wiping the 7th run for LSU off the board. Now it's Southeastern leading 7-6. Maddie Watson at the plate and some insurance in scoring position. Excuse me, swing. Berzon fields and flips. And now LSU, or less. Both this season have been decided by 1 run.
I think, too, you have to remember Southeastern is in Hammond, 45, 50 minutes away.
Last night got their 2nd all-time win against LSU, Amanda. First win over a national seed in program history. There's the 1-2 from Lewinsky. Oh, and that got a piece of Rudity. Tying run aboard in the 7th for LSU.
Trying to sneak in that curveball in the inside corner like she did earlier in the at-bat. Ends up running into her back leg, and it's going to be a leadoff runner for LSU when they need it real bad.
Sierra Daniel has 3 hits in the regional, including an RBI single earlier on tonight. Drops down a bunt, foul.
Every time that LSU has had their leadoff hitter on, they've scored except for 1 inning. They've had their leadoff on in now 5 different innings. But what I was going to say about Southeastern and why this is such a big game for them is that a lot of them are local kids. They grew up watching LSU, wanting to play at LSU, having that be their dream school that they looked up to.
Daniel, fair ball, and it will trickle foul. Really well played by Maddie Watson at first base. And now 2 strikes on Sierra Daniel.
I'm not going to lie. I thought that was going to roll foul, and it did. And then I thought it was going to roll back fair. Great read by Maddie Watson to see this, the spin on it. But I thought it was going to roll back fair right there, but continued on in foul territory. Great read.
Watson, the Baton Rouge, Louisiana native. She fields it and taps first. 1 down as Rudity moves into scoring position.
It's a productive out, though, by Sierra Daniel. Not going to get down the bunt. That will work to move her into scoring position. All you're trying to do right now is at least extend this game. Tying run now in scoring position.
And it's Jaden Leno, who twice today has been part of scoring plays. Once at the plate, once on the base paths. Leno, a first-year starter, embodying what it means to stick around when things don't go your way as a freshman. Was a superstar in high school, an All-American in 2022, a Player of the Year in the state of Georgia in 2021, and yet last year played in just 6 games as a pinch runner and pinch hitter. This year battled to become an everyday starter at LSU.
She did, and Beth Torina raves about her. She should be the poster child for everyone on the roster at any program in the country who didn't get what they wanted, saying that she never quit trying and working hard even with little to no opportunities last year.
Two count. Brittany Lewinsky in the circle with the tying run in scoring position. Misses low.
That's a hard pitch to take after that low strike call for strike 2. Because you get into this protect mode thinking, okay, now I have to protect down the zone. He called a low strike on me. It's so easy to see that down and think, okay, I got to swing.
Lewinsky almost saw that go fair, and she's glad it didn't.
It's another close foul ball like in last night's game off the bat of Macy Bergeron. That was a foul ball that could have changed the game down the line.
That probably scores Rudity if
Absolutely.
It's a fair ball. Instead, we reset for another payoff pitch. 28th pitch of the game in this relief appearance for Lewinsky. Leno, fair ball off the bat. Here comes Rudity around third. We are tied again at LSU.
Are you having fun yet watching this elimination game in Baton Rouge? Are you kidding me? She pulls it down the right field line. It goes foul. She shoots it down the third base line and hits the bag. When it hits the bag, that's a fair ball all the way. It's never been more clear. And Jaden Leno, who had no opportunities last year, steps up in the biggest moment of her career and ties up this game.
Go-ahead run aboard in the 7th. And Maddox McKee at the plate. The starting Tiger DP in the 8th spot. McKee to the right side. Double play opportunity. They will not turn it. Excellent job by McKee getting up the line to keep the inning alive. Sure-handed defending in the infield from Maddie Watson and Chloe McGee getting the lead runner.
If you're LSU, you want this lead, knowing that Southeastern is going to come back in the bottom of the 7th inning. They have 7, 8, 9 coming up.
And their 7, 8, 9 hitters have produced 3 of their 7 runs in this game. Avery Hodge has walked, been hit by a pitch, and come around to score.
Well, and think about it, Matt. LSU hasn't led in this game except for the first inning when they scored the first run. And then Southeastern answered right back in the bottom of the first inning. They would love to play from ahead on defense.
1-2 count. Hodge up the middle, fielded at second base by Morris, and we go to the bottom of the 7th, tied at 7, thanks to Jaden Leno.
It's a battle of an at-bat.
Takes a strike to lead off the bottom of the 7th. The 2-time All-American Sydney Berzon back in the circle. Flair in the center. Going to be a tough play. It's down for a leadoff base knock.
To think, Matt, that Southeastern Louisiana's first NCAA tournament appearance was last year. 0 appearances in their first 39 years. In the last 2 years, 2 NCAA tournament appearances, including a regional final appearance last year, and fighting for one here. We'll get one with a run here in this AB.
Nebraska awaits. Kaylee Dixon. LSU defense selling out to defend the bunt from Kaylee Dixon with the speedy Colleen Cullivan at first base. Dixon does have 7 sacrifice bunts this year. Squares around again. Did she offer at it? Yes, it's a 1-1 count. This team has been so good, Southeastern, in these situations this year. Top 5 in the nation in sacrifice bunts. Cullivan gets this one down. Tough play for Edwards. It gets into right field. Up to third goes Cullivan. And the game-winning run is 60 feet away for Southeastern. And now up to second base, Dixon. Because Daniel didn't want to throw the ball.
Yeah, and her run at second base means nothing. The only run that they care about is at third base, was the game-winning run. I think you just feel the pressure in this moment to make that play and tighten up in these moments. Unless the ball was a little bit slippery, it's hot, it's humid, it's the only other thing that could happen. But Tori Edwards makes that play 10 out of 10 times in the regular season, I believe.
And so now, Amanda, with a game-winning run at third base, it is Shanita Tucker, who might be the hardest 9-hole hitter in this tournament, comes to the plate. The former newcomer of the year in the Southland Conference with Colleen Cullivan standing just 60 feet away. That is what separates Southeastern from a trip to tomorrow's regional final.
I know this might be a little bit risky, but Jaden Heavner warming up in the LSU bullpen. I think I might bring her in this situation. And my reason why is because you need strikeouts right now. You need swing and miss stuff in the circle right now, and Berzon is fantastic. She's your ace, a 2-time All-American, but Jaden Heavner has the swing and miss stuff in the pen.
And I was just going to ask, do you think about intentionally walking here to load the bases, create a force out at home? It almost appears like LSU is doing that now with Tucker at the plate.
Yeah, not a bad idea. Take the pressure off of your defense, have a force at any bag.
.3-0 count to Tucker with Shelby Morris on deck and Jaden Heavner warming up in the bullpen for LSU. And that is a walk on 4 pitches to Tucker to load the bases in the bottom of the 7th.
And you have the lefty on lefty matchup with Morris and McGee coming up, both lefties. I'd consider it. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'd definitely consider it. No strikeouts on the day for Sydney Berzon in relief.
Shelby Morris 0 for in this game, does have a walk. Don't put a suicide squeeze past Rick Freeman. Oh, 2 to Morris. Infield and outfield drawn in for LSU. Game-winning run at third base. Nobody out in the bottom of the 7th. Southeastern trying to do the improbable, the impossible. And that is win 2 games in a row against a nationally seeded LSU team. Morris right side, play at the plate, not in time! Southeastern walks off LSU, and the Lady Lions will play for a regional title. And there is going to be a review before this game goes final. We will wait to hear from our crew chief, Matt Dial. Emerus Addison is chatting with the Southeastern head coach, Rick Freeman, about what this challenge could be about.
Ruling on the field is that the runner left first base on time. LSU is challenging the runner left first base early. Plays under further review.
You've seen this so many times in this regional, just trying to use anything you can to get an out, but kind of a Hail Mary here. Shanita Tucker is clearly at first base, but
what else can you do in this situation?
That's nothing. It's your Hail Mary just to see if accidentally that happened. But my goodness, Southeastern Louisiana is going to win this game. They are going to the regional final to play against Nebraska, and just heartbreaking for LSU, devastating for LSU on their home field, and losing to Southeastern Louisiana twice in this regional.
A team located 45 minutes down the road in Hammond, Louisiana. A team that before last year had never played in the NCAA tournament, and now, assuming this call holds, will have beaten 4 power conference teams in 2 years in the big dance. Here is Matt Dial.
After further review, the runner left on time. The call's being upheld. Runner safe. That's the ball game.
It is over.